Carol Reese. I'm a master gardener. I've been a master gardener forever. If you have any questions about master gardening, we're starting a new class in the end of January. If anyone's interested, please join us. It's a wonderful group. It's with the extension agents out at the Ag Center on John Rice Boulevard. The class is, you're obligated to do 40 hours of volunteer time, and then the class itself takes like 2.5 months. It's once a week. It's a big time investment. It is. But there are no finer people on the planet than the people I hang out with at the Ag Center. So,
how many sessions a week?
I think it's just one.
One?
One or two, but your last name is Reeves, is it not?
No, Johnson.
Okay. If you give me your email, I'll check on that and make sure you get that information. Yeah, it's wonderful. Now, there's also a lesser class that's not as detailed and not as entailed, and that's once a week, if I'm not mistaken. It's called Garden Basics. It's a little later in the season. They cover things to grow, but you don't have the volunteer obligation, and it doesn't cost as much. You don't have the volunteer obligation, but it's tons of fun, especially good for people that have recently moved to the area. A lot of times you'll find that Master Gardener classes and Garden Basics classes are taken up by people that have recently moved to the area and come from a place where they want to know more about what grows here as opposed to what they're used to having grown. Today, oddly enough, we're going to cover floral design. Floral design is a part of gardening. It's usually taught, oddly enough, with other classes in the ag section of your high schools and your colleges. Floral design will be part of those classes. Don't know why, but it's lumped in there. I am a professional florist. I have been for 12, 13, 14 years. I took classes from an incredible man by the name of David Pippin. He operates on the East Coast and out of Richmond, Virginia. At the present time, he is the florist for the governor. Ta-da! But he's really great. If you ever want to look him up on Facebook, you can see some of his work. It's incredible. He's very talented. I obtained the greenery for these from Home Depot. They routinely give away the greenery that they cut off of their Christmas trees that they sell. Also Lowe's. I'm not supporting one big box store over another. We're going to start by going over the handout that you were given is from the Baxter Master Gardener Group in Arkansas. It's one of the finest handouts on floral design I've ever seen. The classroom book, the book that I had to buy for my classroom studies was a $200 book, and just about everything that they're saying in that book, they're saying in this free handout, which they have on the internet. If you ever lose it, it's Baxter Master Gardeners in Arkansas. Materials. We're going to use fresh materials, greenery, appropriately conditioned. Typically, appropriate condition means that you recut the stems or cut the stems freshly out in the field, preferably in the morning, but that's not imperative. And you put it in water, and it stayed in that water, pulling that water up into the top of the plant overnight. So that's conditioned. A lot of times they use those little packets of antibacterial, to keep your water clean. It's not absolutely necessary, but if you have them, you can use them, whatever. Your container, anything can be a container. This is a container. This is wet floral oasis. You soak it in water, you never push it down, you let it absorb the water as it goes down. So, and that's what we got so far. Types of designs. There's a lot of different designs, but what we're going to cover today, and this is Federated Garden Club's approved type language, line design. A line design is anything that's straight. If this piece right here was up like this, this would be a complete line design, but it's not going to be like that. But that's a line design. The next most common design is line mass design. That's when you have the line, but you also have more stuff down here. Line mass design. Then there's just a mass design, which is typically European or historically European in nature, where you have usually a round container or a container that's relatively low, but the design of the flowers themselves is just kind of like this. There's nothing sticking up. That's your mass design. Today, we're doing, this will be line mass. Technically, this will be more like a centerpiece, but in any of the education materials, they always talk about the elements of design, and it's color wheel, color wheel, color wheel. I'm not an artist. Some of you probably are, so you attach a lot more importance to the color wheel. They talk about colors that are opposite one another and colors that are next to one another and hues of color, and they go on about color for a really long time. And I get it. It's important. But as a professional florist, eventually you get to the point where you know what you want to have in there. Or as an individual who's decorating for yourself or for some event, you know what color you want in there, and it doesn't matter about the hue and these 5 colors right here on the color wheel. But by all means, pay attention to the color wheel. I don't mean to be negative towards the art aspect of this. I just tend to work a little faster. Color harmonies, again, are monochromatic and analogous. Contrasting color harmonies, direct complements. These are your color harmonies. Spray or fillers. Oh, good. Let's get into the other. That can be your linear, your line mass, or your mass designs. Spray or filler shapes are things that are taking up space within your arrangement. That would be your greenery. That would be a spray rose grouping. That would, as opposed to one focal flower, that'd be a clump of flowers, very similar all together. It's taking up space. The attributes of design, expression, harmony, unity. And you'll see it. When you're doing it, you'll see it. Things that go together, unity. So as you do it, I can't explain it as well as just have you do it. The attributes of a design are your expression, your harmony, and your unity. And you'll feel it. You'll feel it when it's right. Principles of floral design. Balance, dominance. Balance is when it doesn't have to have exactly the same amount of material on either side. But when you look at it, you have to see it doesn't look tipped. And in the same vein, you can have a floral arrangement with everything over to one side. But as long as there's enough mass down here and enough mass up here to balance out the arrangement, that's where your balance comes in. It's the same as when you're doing landscape design. You can have 2 small trees over here and achieve balance with this one big tree over here and your doorway in the center. There's your landscape design balance. When you're floral design, you're looking for the same elements on a much smaller scale in your floral design. Dominance. It's also referred to as a focal point. When you see an arrangement where you have a great big hydrangea stuck in the middle, and your eye automatically goes to that great big hydrangea or that big old lily, that flower, that element is dominating that arrangement. Those types of arrangements are particularly prevalent when you're looking at a line design, because there'll be a big old flower a lot of times weighted at the bottom of that arrangement. And then as you go up, there'll be another one here and another one here. Well, there's your balance. If you don't have contrasting elements within your arrangement, you won't know. It becomes one color. If you don't have defining features within your arrangement, say a white a purple flower and a white flower, or then you don't see individual flowers. You just see, and sometimes that's what you want to achieve. The scale is what shows you those individual flowers. Rhythm is the flow of the movement, and it's the way that the arrangement draws your eye. It pulls your eye to each individual element as you're looking at it. That's why you'll get spiky stuff sticking off to the side. Rhythm pulls your eye. Contrast is just like your scale, or similar to your scale in that it defines individual flowers within that arrangement. So, do you have any questions? Again, this is the St. Clair's floral arranging for the class for December. Thank you. Thank you for coming today.